So this movement was really hard. That just took all the moves and was like, cool, you got 3 minutes to do all this crap. Buckle up, let's canter half pass. One of the things that made the equestrian dressage test so challenging is the number of moves everybody had to do in such a short amount of time. They literally put a time constraint on the dressage test. So that just took all the moves and was like, cool, you got 3 minutes to do all this crap. So there was this one particularly challenging sequence where you come down the quarter line from the far end of the arena, half pass right, flying lead change, half pass left, flying lead change. And one of the reasons that's so challenging is because flying lead changes are challenging in and of themselves, but then when you have to not only do a flying lead change, but also switch the bend fully into the ribs and then move into the second half pass from the flying lead change, there are two trains of thought I have for this, because I do flying lead changes with my horse, and there is something to be said for when you add other movements to a flying lead change, like for instance moving in or moving out of it, it does tend to help minimize the extravagance of the flying lead change. However, your horse has to be completely in tune with you to even successfully do that move in the first place. So it just adds a whole bunch of layers to what's already a very complicated movement. So there is this sequence in the eventing Olympic dressage test, which is only done at the Olympics. And so this movement was really hard, and I've done a lot of comparison videos, like who did the best extended trot, who did the best extended canter, who did the best rein back. I've done a lot of videos like this, and I will say that there are at least 20 people out of like 60 riders in most of those competitions, and there was like 10 in this division, because this move called out a lot of people. And it's not to say that the Olympics is the best of the best riders. So this has nothing to do with ability. Anybody who, if you're even qualified to go to the Olympics, we don't have to have a conversation about whether or not you're able to do it. The question becomes who can do it on the day and who can produce under the big lights, so to speak. So these were the best of the best canter half passes in the Olympic eventing dressage, and we are going to compare them side by side and award our own gold, silver, and bronze for this movement in particular. So buckle up, let's canter half pass. This pair actually, in my own competition, won best partnership. See, and that's just so smooth, and that angle, they were straight on, you can just tell. Good boy. It's so easy and calm. That's definitely not how my horse, that's definitely not how my horse does his flying lead changes. This straight on angle, that is going to call anybody out. And one of the things that all of these are going to have in common is dead straight lead changes. And Laura had an Olympic record-setting dressage test, so it makes sense that she's on this list. She has such grace when it comes to moving in and out of movements. Like, she has very seamless transitions. Nice. That was a lovely change. It looked like it could have been bad, but it actually ended up being super smooth. That one too, a little bit. Like, this horse maybe needs more preparation than, you can tell he does more preparation. Yeah. I do like this angle. You can't hide anything from a judge if they were looking at it like this. This was one of my favorite tests of the day. Okay, that was in this stiff competition. That one move where his haunches moved is gonna eat at his chances, but that was still a really nice version of this move. That was a nice one. It's a little fussy in the head, but net on the nose, you know, it does indicate like a fussy head to begin with, and so that's probably a lot better than it normally is, but it's just, you know, we're in a competition here. Nice. He does look like he's running a little bit, but you do have to make it across, so you gotta move. Obviously, the ones, like, there are some that make like, they look like they just move across the ground on a cloud, and it's just, you can tell the difference. Okay, that one I had an extra stutter step at the end, but that was still very nice. So that was still a stiff competition, even though that was one of the hardest moves by far in the test. It was definitely a part of the test that either set you apart, or it was a, you know, there were some horses that completely lost their marbles and they were just running through it. And the reality is that horses are animals at the end of the day. And so when you're in a competition with a horse, you hope it all goes well, and everybody, of course, practices to be successful at shows. However, sometimes what happens in the show ring is definitely not what happens at home, and all of a sudden you're dealing with what could be considered a wild animal because you're on top of something that is, you know, perhaps freaking out. But these were all lovely, so let's go ahead and award our gold, silver, and bronze for these for the Canter half pass. And please vote down below if you disagree with my picks. So if you enjoyed this side-by-side comparison of the best eventers in the world doing Canter half pass, then I have a feeling you're also going to really like the video where we compare extended trots, because oh my god, that was one of the most fun videos to make. It's one of the most fun moves to do in dressage, and definitely fun to compare side by side. So there's a playlist with your name on it right about there.